Welcome to my Y&R Insider 24 update channel, everyone. Mariah's safety, Nikki vs Jill, and Jack's pressure. Spoilers for Tuesday, October 7th, 2025, from The Young and the Restless are in. Fans can anticipate a confrontation between Jill Abbott and Nikki Newman, Melody Thomas Scott, in the following episode. Billy Flynn's Kane Ashby is persuaded to do the right thing by Jack Abbott, Peter Bergman. Additionally, Kate Fairbanks' Tessa Porter is concerned about Mariah Copeland's, Cameron Grimes, safety. Continue reading to learn more about the upcoming episodes of the CBS soap opera. Make sure to check out our weekly Y&R spoilers, here. Jill Abbott vs Nikki Newman. Let's start off with Nikki, who faces off with Jill. Nikki tells the Abbott dynasty to come to the Newman ranch because she has something she needs to say. The blonde then adds that it has taken a very long time. I wonder if they will find common ground, even though Nikki might let out her rage. Read more, find out what happened on the last episode of Y&R. After all, Jill is already upset enough about Billy Abbott, Jason Thompson, and Kane. Everyone must band together as Kane pursues the Newman empire. Women are, for some reason, much better at doing that than men. Victor Newman's alliance. Eventually, Victor Newman, Eric Braeden, will meet with Jill as well. They might form an alliance. However, with Victor not wanting the best for Billy, I wonder if they can find a way to get along. The bombshell of Tessa Porter. According to the spoilers for The Young and the Restless, Tessa and Daniel Romalotti, Jr. Michael Griside will make his way back from Boston. In an effort to ascertain the truth about what had transpired there, the two went to Mariah's previous hotel room. Wouldn't the housekeeping staff have already handed it over by this point? Maybe they will get lucky and find something that the cleaning crew missed. In a preview clip, Sharon Newman, Sharon Case, asks them if they found anything out about Mariah's incident. With a concerned look, Tessa says they did. Read this, The Young and the Restless spoilers. Billy's risky move backfires and Mariah's story needs to be told. Fans will also see Nick Newman confront Phyllis Summers, Michelle Stafford. However, will Nick get any clues or will Red continue playing games? Additionally, Jack will keep attempting to thwart Kane's scheme. The patriarch will once again try to get Kane to do the right thing before it all blows up in his face. However, Kane seems pretty overconfident about his plan. Is his plan really unbeatable, or could this all be a cover? Stay tuned because there must be a way to safeguard Genoa City's businesses from Kane's AI plan. Nikki vs Jill, Mariah's safety, Jack's pressure, a day of reckonings in Genoa City. The Young and the Restless never lets a day pass without secrets, rivalries, and emotions spilling over the edges of restraint. The CBS soap delivers a powerfully charged episode on Tuesday, October 7th, 2025. In it, two of Genoa City's strongest women face off, a mother's terror over her missing daughter comes to the surface, and Jack Abbott is forced to endure excruciating pressure to stop a war that could destroy everything his family has built. In this episode, Nikki Newman faces off with Jill Abbott in a long-awaited confrontation that reopens decades of rivalry, resentment, and buried guilt. As he pushes Kane Ashby to back off from a ruthless corporate strike that could destroy Jabot and possibly Jack's own conscience in the process, Jack Abbott is caught between loyalty, legacy, and survival. And when Tessa Porter discovers that Mariah Copeland's enigmatic disappearance may be connected to a secret that is much darker than anyone could have imagined, her panic turns into near hysteria far from the vineyards and boardrooms. Act 1, Nikki Newman vs. Jill Abbott, When Queens Collide. The episode opens with a slow shot of Newman Ranch, the iconic setting for countless emotional showdowns. The lighting is dim, the skies over Genoa City heavy with grey clouds. It's the kind of day when ghosts from the past tend to wake up. Nikki Newman, Melody Thomas Scott, paces the grand living room, a glass of untouched club soda in her hand. Her hands tremble not from the drink, but from the storm raging inside her. As fierce and unapologetic as ever, Jill Abbott, Jess Walton, stands across the room with her arms folded and her lips curved in that knowing smirk that has enraged both Newman and Abbott. Nikki begins softly, her voice measured. There's something I've been meaning to say to you, Jill. Something that's been building for a long time. Jill raises her eyebrows. Well, by all means, darling. Let's clear the air before the oxygen runs out. Their rivalry has been fueled by marriages, affairs, business disputes, and moral betrayals for decades. Nikki and Jill have both danced around Victor's empire and Jack's world more times than they can count. But now, as Kane's tech-driven coup threatens to unravel Genoa City's financial landscape, they find themselves standing on the same battlefield, even if neither trusts the other enough to admit it. You've been circling this family for years, Nikki says sharply. However, you are now allowing your own avarice to cloud your judgment. Kane isn't just playing business here. He's gambling with people's lives, people like Billy, like Jack, like everyone who's ever worked under those names you're trying to protect. Jill's expression hardens, but there's a flicker of pain beneath her bravado. Don't you dare talk to me about family, Nikki. You think Victor's halo is shining bright enough to blind everyone to what he's done? You've watched as he crushed more people than Kane could have ever imagined. Their words cut deep, but beneath the venom is something unspoken: respect. Both women have clawed their way through love, loss, and public humiliation. They've both buried sons, fought addiction, and faced the lonely mirror that power often brings. However, the confrontation of today feels different. There's exhaustion in their eyes, a shared recognition that the next generation's chaos may finally break what they spent a lifetime defending. Maybe, Nikki says softly, it's time we stop letting the men decide what war looks like. The silence that follows is electric. For once, Jill doesn't have a comeback. Two titans of Genoa City stare each other down, not as enemies, but as survivors. Act 2, Victor's calculations and the unexpected alliance. When Victor Newman, Eric Braden, later enters the ranch, the air changes immediately. Jill's chin lifts, Nikki straightens her shoulders. The mustache commands attention without saying a word. Jill, he says evenly, I hear you've been busy stirring the pot over at Chancellor Winter's. I hope you don't forget who actually controls this town. Jill smirks. You mean you? Or the ghost of who you used to be? Victor and Jill's tension is almost cinematic. He's a man who's spent a lifetime controlling outcomes, she's a woman who's spent just as long defying them. But this time, the stakes are too high for pride. Kane's plan, rumored to involve artificial intelligence manipulating Genoa City's corporate systems, has sent shivers through the business community. Despite her fiery self-assurance, Jill is aware that the threat is real. I don't like this any more than you do, Jill admits finally. But if Kane takes Newman and Jabot down in one strike, we'll all be left with rubble. Additionally, I do not intend to go down with the ship. Victor leans in, voice dropping low. Then perhaps we can help each other, discreetly. It is not a friendship-based truce, rather, it is a necessity. To contain a threat that was greater than either of them anticipated, two master strategists formed an uneasy alliance. Sometimes, the only way to win a war is to fight alongside your enemy, Victor says. For Nikki, watching from the side, it's a moment of revelation. She sees that Jill isn't just a rival, she's a mirror. Both women have been shaped by the powerful men in their lives, and both are tired of cleaning up the wreckage. Act 3, Tessa Porter's discovery, Mariah's fading trail. Meanwhile, Kate Fairbanks' Tessa Porter and Daniel Romalotti Jr., Michael Graziardi, appears to be shaken upon returning from their trip to Boston. Their mission was simple: find out what really happened in Mariah's old hotel room. But the clues they bring back are anything but simple. The camera pans over a small box of evidence: hotel receipts, a damaged keycard, a phone charger with frayed wires, and something far more sinister, a blood-stained note written in Mariah's handwriting. Sharon Newman, who plays Sharon Case, is horrified as Tessa describes what they discovered. We thought the room would have been cleared, Sharon. But the maid said no one's been in there for weeks. It's like whoever booked it didn't want anyone finding what Mariah left behind. The note is chilling in its simplicity: if I don't make it home, tell Tessa not to trust the man in the grey coat. Tessa's voice trembles as she reads it aloud, tears welling up. She knew something was wrong, Sharon. She was aware that someone was after her. The discovery sends shockwaves through the Newman household. Sharon's maternal instincts kick in, but so does her fear. Mariah has been in trouble for years due to her impulsive nature, but this feels different. This feels targeted. Nick Newman, Joshua Morrow, arrives mid-scene, demanding answers. When he learns about the note, his protective rage ignites. If someone touched my sister, he growls, they won't live to regret it. However, Tessa halts him. Before we act, we must think. Mariah wanted us to follow the clues, not start a war. Daniel's expression darkens. Maybe the war has already begun. Act 4. Jack Abbott's pressure, Kane's dangerous game. The atmosphere is tense back at Jabbo. Jaw clenched, Peter Bergman's Jack Abbott stares out the office window. His reflection in the glass looks older, wearier, but still sharp. He's lived through corporate betrayals before, but something about this feels personal. Kane Ashby, Billy Flynn, enters, all swagger and confidence. He's convinced his AI-driven plan to expose corporate inefficiencies will make him a legend. But Jack knows better. Innovation without ethics is destruction in disguise. Jack issues a warning, Kane, listen to me. What you're doing doesn't just hurt me or Victor or Jill, it puts every employee in this city at risk. The economy of Genoa City isn't a game. Kane smirks. You think small, Jack. This is the future. You're clinging to the past because it's comfortable. Jack slams his hand on the desk. No, I'm clinging to decency, something this town is running out of. The scene is raw, powerful, and heartbreaking. Jack, the eternal moral compass, trying to guide a man who has already crossed too many lines. The weight of responsibility bears down on him not just for Jabbo, but for his family's name, his employees, and the fragile balance of power in Genoa City. His phone buzzes as Kane leaves the office. A message flashes across the screen. Phase 2 begins tonight. Jack is unaware that Victor Newman's private investigator is following Kane as he disappears into the night from the window. Act V. Storms coming together. All three plotlines begin to converge as the episode approaches its climax. A distorted voice tells Jill to back off her investigation into Kane's dealings when she gets a call from an unidentified number. Nikki receives a mysterious package at the ranch containing a single red rose and a note. Old debts must be paid. And Tessa, back at the coffee house, discovers that her phone has been hacked. Her messages to Mariah are being rerouted. Her every move is being watched by someone. The camera cuts to a shadowy figure in a car outside crimson lights, typing on a laptop. On the screen, Mariah's name flashes, followed by the chilling words, "Target active." Act 6, Emotional Fallout. Later that evening, Nikki and Jill meet again, this time not as adversaries, but as two women haunted by the consequences of power. Jill acknowledges her concern for Kane, who she believes is in over his head. Nikki, surprisingly, offers empathy. Nikki says softly, maybe we can't fix our sons, but we can try to fix what they've broken. It almost feels like a moment of redemption. Two former enemies finding solidarity in shared pain. Meanwhile, Jack sits alone in his office, staring at an old photo of John Abbott. What would you do, Dad? He whispers. His phone buzzes with a message from Victor, meet me at the ranch. We should talk. The music swells as the camera pans over Genoa City at night, lights twinkling, secrets buried beneath every surface. Act 7, Cliffhanger ending. The final moments of the episode are classic Young and the Restless, a slow burn toward chaos. Tessa returns home, exhausted and shaken, only to find the door slightly ajar. Mariah. She calls out softly. The silence is deafening. She steps inside and gasps. On the kitchen table lies Mariah's necklace, the one she never took off. Next to it, a note written in the same shaky handwriting as before. You once found me. Don't make the same mistake again. The screen fades to black, leaving viewers breathless, terrified, and desperate for tomorrow's episode. Epilogue, themes of legacy and survival. Family, power, redemption, and survival are the show's timeless themes in this episode of The Young and the Restless. Nikki and Jill's clash reminds us that women in Genoa City are as fierce as any Newman or Abbott patriarch. Their strength lies not in domination, but in endurance. Jack's moral struggle speaks to the soul of the Abbott legacy, a man fighting to keep his father's values alive in a world that rewards deception. And Tessa's frantic search for Mariah gives the episode its beating heart, love under siege, loyalty tested, and the haunting realization that even the safest homes can hold danger. Each storyline feeds into the next, creating a tapestry of emotion that captures why The Young and the Restless has endured for over half a century. Every glare, every whispered threat, every tear shed in silence carries the weight of history. As the credits roll, viewers are left with one thought echoing through the silence of Genoa City: nothing stays buried forever. 3 must-see Y&R twists rock Genoa City. According to the spoilers for The Young and the Restless, there are 3 scenes that must be seen during the week of October 6, 2025. Kate Fairbanks' Tessa Porter will likely be concerned about Mariah Copeland's, Cameron Grimes', safety, according to fans. Kane Ashby, Billy Flynn, confronts Jill Abbott, Jess Walton, and Lily Winters, Crystal Cullill, about his past. Plus, Nick Newman, Joshua Morrow, goes rogue. Continue reading to learn more about the upcoming episodes of the CBS soap opera. The Fear of Tessa Porter. Let's start off with Tessa, who has gone off to Boston to investigate Mariah's claim. The redhead confessed to her wife that she had attempted to murder a man. However, Tessa is having a hard time believing this and wants to know the whole truth. Tessa and Daniel Romalotti, Jr. travel to Boston. Mike Griside, on the other hand, it sounds like they discover something troubling. Mariah Copeland's safety. In a weekly preview clip, Sharon Newman, Sharon Case, is working at the coffee house when she sees Tessa and Daniel. The blonde inquires if they have learned anything. That is when Tessa has a troubled look and says they did find something. Tessa will worry about Mariah's safety throughout the week. Jill Abbott and Lily Winters unite. The Young and the Restless spoilers for the week of October 6 reveal that another must-see moment centers on Jill. The woman has come back to Genoa City, but things aren't any better with Billy Abbott, Jason Thompson. Jill and Lily will team up next. Together, they will confront Kane to inquire about the past 6 years. Nick Newman turns on himself. Nick is also said to go rogue in the end. Does this have to do with Kane's mission, or could this be about his trip to see Noah Newman, Lucas Adams, Claire Grace Newman, Haley Erin, and Holden Novak, Nathan Owens, are about to go to LA as well? The possibility that Victoria Newman, played by Amelia Heinle, pursues Claire is then hinted at. As a result, I find myself wondering if Nick's erratic behavior might have more to do with Claire than saving the Newman empire. Kyle Abbott, played by Michael Mealer, is another one. The young man already lost Claire. Therefore, will he commit yet another disastrous error by having an affair with Audra Charles, Zuleika Silva? They can act hateful all they want, it seems like they are just obsessed with one another. So, stay tuned to see the fallout. During the week of October 6, 2025, which storyline are you most excited to see? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. To find out what happens next, remember to keep watching the soap on CBS or Paramount+. 3 must-see Y&R twists rock Genoa City: Tessa's fear, Jill's confrontation, and Nick's rogue move. The Young and the Restless spoilers for the week of October 6, 2025, promise one of the most explosive weeks in Genoa City history. Fans are anticipating a storm that could forever alter relationships as long-buried secrets claw their way to the surface, unexpected alliances emerge, and desperate acts of love and protection tear families apart. This week's focus is on 3 compelling narratives, each of which is more emotionally charged and unpredictable than the previous one. From Tessa Porter's growing terror about Mariah Copeland's fate, to Jill Abbott and Lily Winters teaming up to take down Kane Ashby, to Nick Newman's rogue rebellion that could shake the Newman family empire, every moment is laced with danger, regret, and shocking revelations. 1. Fear, a journey into the unknown by Tessa Porter. It begins quietly, almost innocently, with a plane ticket and a desperate heart. Tessa Porter, Kate Fairbanks, has never been the kind of woman to sit still while her world unravels. Cameron Grimes' chilling confession to Mariah Copeland that she might have killed a man was more than just a confession, it was also a cry for help. But as Tessa soon learns, the truth isn't simple, and love sometimes requires walking straight into darkness. When Tessa boards a flight to Boston, her pulse is racing. She is not alone. Daniel Romalotti, Jr. is also there. Michael Graziardi, whose quiet strength steadies her as they retrace Mariah's steps. Boston is grey and cold that week, mirroring Tessa's unease. Every shadow has the impression of concealing something, and every street corner seems to whisper secrets. They begin at the hotel Mariah stayed in before her breakdown. The clerk remembers her vividly, a woman in distress, asking about someone named Nathaniel, muttering that she had to make it right. Tessa gets chills just thinking about that. Mariah never mentioned a Nathaniel. Was this the man she believed she hurt? Or is she being coerced into believing a lie by someone? Then Daniel discovers something even more concerning, a missing persons report that was filed just a few days prior to Mariah's confession. The photo matches the description of the man she claimed to have killed. Who is he? Nathaniel Cross, a private investigator with ties to a corporate scandal that once touched Newman Enterprises. Could Mariah have stumbled onto something bigger, perhaps a cover-up meant to destroy her family? By the time Tessa and Daniel return to Genoa City, the fear has taken hold. Tessa's once calm, grounded demeanor cracks in front of Sharon Newman, Sharon Case, at Crimson Lights. Sharon looks up from the counter in a haunting moment, knowing the truth from her mother's instinct. "Did you discover anything?" Sharon asks softly, her voice trembling. Tessa's eyes glisten as she whispers, "We did, and it's worse than we imagined." The city of Genoa is affected by this line. What did Tessa and Daniel uncover? And could Mariah be in danger from forces far beyond her own mind? Tessa's love for Mariah will now be tested like never before. The woman who once sang songs of hope and resilience will find herself fighting against the shadows of a mystery that could cost her everything, her marriage, her sanity, and perhaps even her life. 2. Jill Abbott and Lily Winters unite, the reckoning of Kane Ashby. Meanwhile, on the other side of town, the boardrooms and backrooms of Chancellor Winters are rumbling with tension. Jill Abbott, Jess Walton, has returned to Genoa City and she's furious. The legacy she built, the empire she fought to keep alive, is once again threatened by the ghosts of Kane Ashby's, Billy Flynn, past. Kane has always been the charming rogue, the man who could talk his way out of any scandal with a crooked smile and a heartfelt apology. But this time, that charm won't save him. Lily Winters, Crystal Cullill, has spent years trying to forgive and forget, to move forward from the lies, the cheating, and the deceit. But when new evidence surfaces about Kane's missing years, it's Jill who insists they face the truth together. Jill storms into the headquarters of Chancellor Winters in a fiery scene, her heels echoing like thunder on the marble floors. Lily follows, her expression a mix of anger and heartbreak. Kane is caught off guard, a whiskey glass in hand, his smirk fading the moment he sees the two women standing side by side. Jill commands Kane to sit down, her voice being as clear as glass. "We're done playing games." Lily crosses her arms, adding quietly but firmly, "You owe us the truth. About everything." The tension between them could disrupt communication. Jill and Lily, two women from different generations, finally find common ground in their mutual disappointment in Kane. 4 years, they've both given him the benefit of the doubt. But now, it's time to demand answers. They begin with the money trail, which includes funds that have not been accounted for, odd offshore accounts, and the enigmatic disappearance of corporate assets while Kane was away from Genoa City. However, as Jill's investigation progresses, she discovers personal betrayal as well as corporate corruption. Kane's been hiding something that could destroy what's left of his reputation. A secret partner. A hidden child. A betrayal that stretches back to the day he left Lily behind, promising to start over. Jill hisses, "You didn't just betray this company, you betrayed your family," as she slams down a folder of evidence. For once, Kane has no quick defense. His silence says everything. Lily turns away, her eyes glistening, knowing that love isn't always enough to save a broken man. But Jill, who has always been a fighter, makes it clear what she wants. "I built Chancellor from nothing," she says, standing tall. "And I won't let another man drag it down. Never again." Together, Jill and Lily become a force of reckoning. This unlikely alliance between a matriarch and her former daughter-in-law could reshape the future of Chancellor Winters, but at what emotional cost? For Kane, redemption may no longer be an option. And for Lily, closure might finally come, but it won't be the kind she hoped for. 3. Nick Newman goes rogue, a father, a fighter, a man on the edge. And then there's Nick Newman, Joshua Morrow, the heart of the Newman family, torn between duty and defiance. This week, Nick's patience runs out. Years of corporate manipulation, family lies, and moral compromises have left him questioning everything he's built his life around. And when it comes to his children, especially Claire Grace Newman, Haley Erin, Nick refuses to stay silent any longer. At first, it seems like business as usual. Newman Enterprises is under fire again, and Victoria Newman, Amelia Heinley, is making reckless moves in her relentless pursuit of control. She's sending Claire and Holden Novak, Nathan Owens, to Los Angeles for what she calls a business opportunity, but Nick smells danger. He's seen that look in Victoria's eyes before, the same look Victor used to have when he was willing to sacrifice family for power. Nick confronts Victoria in her office, his tone low but firm. "You're pushing her too hard. Claire's not ready for this." Victoria fires back, "Claire's stronger than you think. And this is her choice." But Nick knows better. He sees the fear behind Claire's smile, the tension in her posture. She is going to run into someone or something dangerous. When his warnings go ignored, Nick decides to take matters into his own hands. He goes rogue, leaving Genoa City behind, following his daughter to LA without telling anyone. It's a risky move that could alienate him from his entire family, but Nick has one rule he's always lived by: protect his kids at all costs. Once in Los Angeles, Nick begins to uncover a plot that's bigger than he imagined. Holden Novak, Claire's boyfriend and business partner, isn't who he seems. He's connected to an investment ring with ties to, of all people, Kane Ashby. The puzzle pieces start to fit together: Mariah's mystery in Boston, Kane's hidden financial dealings, and Claire's suspicious opportunity in Los Angeles. It's all connected. Someone is pulling the strings, and Nick might be the only one brave enough or reckless enough to expose them. Back in Genoa City, Victoria realizes Nick is missing and panics. For once, the icy, composed executive cracks. She rushes to follow her brother, desperate to stop him before he does something irreversible. Their paths will collide on the sun-soaked streets of LA, where long-suppressed family secrets will come roaring back to life. When Nick finally confronts Holden, fists fly, and words turn venomous. "You think you can manipulate my daughter?" Nick snarls. "You don't know who you're dealing with," but Holden doesn't back down. Instead, he smiles. "Oh, I absolutely know who I'm dealing with. The Newman who thinks he can save everyone and ends up destroying them instead." Nick will be haunted by those words long after the fight is over. Because he knows in his heart that they are true. Nick's instinct to protect has always come at a price, and this time, the cost could be his relationship with Claire. For Audra Charles and Kyle Abbott, obsession on the verge of madness. Another emotional explosion is brewing in Genoa City despite the chaos elsewhere. This one is not based on business or betrayal but rather on raw, uncontrollable passion. Kyle Abbott, Michael Miller, and Audra Charles, Zuleika Silva, have danced around destruction for months. Their relationship is poisonous, magnetic, and absolutely doomed. Everyone sees it, from Jack Abbott's quiet concern to Summer's barely concealed disgust. And yet, neither Kyle nor Audra can seem to walk away. They fight like enemies and love like addicts, their encounters oscillating between fury and seduction. When Kyle shows up at Audra's hotel room one night, demanding answers about her ties to Tucker McCall, things spiral out of control. What begins as an argument turns into something darker, an admission that neither of them wants to face. "You hate me because I remind you of yourself," Audra spits. "And you can't stop chasing me because you love the chaos," Kyle fires back. The air between them burns. One wrong word, one reckless touch, and everything could go up in flames. By the end of the week, Genoa City will be buzzing not just about business scandals or mysterious deaths, but about one forbidden night that could alter the Abbott legacy forever. The end, Genoa City on the verge of dying. By the week's end, all three storylines begin to converge. The investigation that Jill and Lily conduct into Kane's secret dealings may bring to light a corrupt network that has a direct connection to Holden's questionable investments in Los Angeles, the same network that may have put Mariah in danger in Boston. Tessa's discovery could connect the missing investigator, Nathaniel Cross, to a cover-up involving Newman money's money that was quietly funneled through Chancellor Winters by none other than Kane Ashby himself. And as the web tightens, Nick's rogue mission, Jill's confrontation, and Tessa's investigation could collide in one catastrophic revelation, one that exposes how far the powerful families of Genoa City will go to protect their own. Last thoughts: this isn't just another week in Genoa City. It is a retribution. Loyalty meets love, denial meets truth, and betrayal meets family. The lines between right and wrong are blurred, and every character, from Tessa to Nick, from Jill to Kyle, must decide how much they're willing to lose in their pursuit of redemption. 3 must-see twists. 3 exploding bombs. And one soap that keeps proving that the past in Genoa City is never really gone, it just waits for the right time to come roaring back.